I'm like, well, I am. He goes, you know, well, with like, you know, guys like us who've been fighting for years. I'm like, no, he goes, you can't just say you're a professional boxer. I'm like, well, technically I am. I have no fights. Anyways, we got into it a little bit. And I told him that I was the host of the #1 podcast in the world.
I'm so happy you're bringing this up.
And he wouldn't. He's
would
like,
not let it
he
go.
goes, what, you're like bigger than Joe Rogan? I said, well, like, what's the metric for success here? Like, what are we talking about? Like, views or just overall just being the best? He goes, well, wouldn't being the best mean you have the most downloads? And I'm like, I mean, what are we talking about here? You know? And he pressed me, and I kind of like panicked a little bit. And I ended up saying like, okay, like, fuck, bro, I guess we don't have the most downloads, but we're still the #1 podcast in the world.
Facts.
You know? Or so I thought.
No.
Well,
Where's this going? I got to hear this because I'm getting fucking mad.
Joe Rogan had Edward Snowden on his podcast.
Fuck.
Edward Snowden.
Listen.
What are we doing? We don't even have a guest.
We have no guest. Look at our guests
We
right
don't
now.
even have our third co-host,
We have
Spencer.
Edward Snowden post NSA, invisible. He's not even fucking here, dude. He's gone. He's in Russia.
Snowden.
Bro, like, how do you do that? How do you do that, dude?
Sorry. Yeah. He Skyped him in, bro. He's
like, what?
He Skyped him in, dude.
Can we, Edward Snowden, NSA agent extraordinaire, responsible for one of the most loved and hated individuals on this planet, responsible for some of the largest leaks, whistleblowing in the history of the U.S. government, one of the most interesting people on this planet. You talk about me having should have been dead. This dude is a fucking ghost. The fact that he is still alive is a miracle.
Yeah. And even like, look at the room he's recording in. Like, where is he?
Well,
on
no
this
marks.
planet?
No marks.
Nothing, dude.
Nothing.
And Joe Rogan had him on. So with all due respect to us and this
don't
podcast.
say it. And I'll say it how you want to say it, and I'm ready to combat it. Go
No.
for it.
I just we got to step our game up. That's all I'm gonna
Fair,
say. Like,
fair.
let's get some like that. Who's that guy? The other leak guy? Oh, he's in jail. Julian Assange.
We can get him via holograph. People have done that in the past. Listen. Joe Rogan has
a bald head.
He has a bald head. But listen, Joe Rogan's podcast is potentially the most well-rounded, because here's the deal, it goes back to the metrics. Joe Rogan exists in a space that is so professional, so fucking well put together, so well-rounded. He brings in the people that intrigue your mind, okay? Logan and I and Spencer are personalities. This is a variety show of sorts, okay? And by the way, we are the podcast of people that play in a young Hollywood that we represent honestly and transparently that no one else is talking about. We are talking about the things that a certain group of people want to hear about. Nobody else is talking about the shit as openly as we are. We will expose ourselves. We'll talk about the parties we go to. And by the way, also the world's biggest YouTuber. And by the way, one of the world's best YouTubing fighter YouTubers. like there's a lot of variety here and a lot of really good personality. Rogan's is way more laid back, thought-provoking.
It's
different metrics, like you said.
But
it's
it also I'm looking forward to our future where we can get to a point to convey the type of information he does in a more digestible way. I think we're really good at that. The good news is, bro, I'm more than half his age or less than half.
So you got a lot of time to do it.
Like I'm 24, he's 52. So I'm stunned at how much he knows.
Here's what
and his curiosity. First off, curiosity is quite possibly one of the best traits I think a human can have.
Amazing.
He is so curious about everything and about life, and I have it too. And I hope it just like I can further nurture that trait of mine and just like satisfy a hunger that I have for knowledge. But he is just like, he knows everything, everyone,
every minute. And by the way, it is an age thing, because you look at me and you're like, people ask me all the time too. They're like, why do you know such a weird wealth of information on topics that make no sense?
Yeah.
Like when I'm sitting down and I start having a conversation with Rene Descartes about Rene Descartes, and philosophies on first meditations and shit with Mac in the fucking hot tub. People are like, why do you know about this stuff? Well, as you get older, you just sponge stuff up and you learn more and more stuff. Here's where he differs, other than age. Every minute you spend talking to a girl, thinking about fighting, thinking about the next piece of content, he is studying the deep down low of what Snowden was doing. And he probably does hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of prep work before those fucking interviews.
We talk about, let me combat that for a sec. I don't know that for Snowden, yes.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yes. I see
for
where you're
typical
going,
guests, I'm not sure. But we talk about being regimented and the importance of it.
Sure.
Do you think this has to be the case. Do you think the fact that he's got a wife and a family and a house and a
100%.
routine,
loves weed, by the way,
helps him just zone in and just do his thing to the best of his ability?
We look at what we did on the way into Jones, Gun Girl, and Shapiro. Still not as much as he would have done, but we came armed. You came armed. I'm for some reason, bro, I'm not well equipped enough politically to be able to have those type of conversations with those type of people. The stuff we didn't even work that differently for those interviews or for those shows. The thing is once again, it goes back to amount of time that I've spent in those subjects because they do vastly interest me. They do vastly interest me. If I got a chance to sit down with Snowden, I know enough. To your point, you're probably right. I probably know enough to sit down and have a meaningful interview and a meaningful show with Snowden right now without doing any additional research.
Yeah.
Because we talk about this when it comes to movies sometimes. When we talk about what movie you want to watch, what movie I want to watch, the movies I want to watch are about government secrecy, the mafia, shit like that. That's the stuff I'm interested in. If you bring a fighter on and you're talking about fight techniques, you're going to crush that podcast.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. I mean, the shows that Rogan really excels on are the ones where it's a topic that he fucking loves. Internet censorship, Snowden, Jones, the people that he loves to have on. So maybe at the end of the day, it comes down to being a passion thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I recommend you guys all go listen to that Joe Rogan podcast. We still have yet to do it. We're probably just going to sit down, maybe even tonight, and just
watch it.
Just listen to it.
Tonight's the Halsey Halloween party. You can't go.
Yeah, I got invited.
Of course you did.
Can't
It's funny
go.
because all the parties that